Hello, welcome to Pyramid Knits. My name is Liz. I am a knitter and a natural dyer, and I am coming to you from my home just outside of Taos, New Mexico in the southwestern United States. My pronouns are she, her, and I am on the traditional and current homeland of the Tiwa people of the Taos Pueblo. Yeah, they still live here. I live here at their pleasure. A lot of the land that I can actually see from my house in the mountains and the land just about a mile away from me, kind of going out into the desert, is all still Pueblo land. I was driving down the street the other day, and these two native guys on horses were just trotting up the street coming the other way, and I was like, yeah, that probably doesn't happen most places. That's pretty cool. Yeah, a couple of fun facts. The Taos Pueblo is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It has a building on the land that's over 1,000 years old and has been continuously inhabited and is the oldest continuously inhabited building in North America. It's very cool. It's all built out of adobe, so they're just constantly remudding it. So I don't know if you could, I mean, probably like in the innards of the walls, those are probably still 1,000 years old. Keza, what are you doing? My dog is digging a hole. Sorry about that. Anywho, yeah, so welcome to my podcast, Knitcast, Yarncast, about knitting and yarn and things. It's been a minute, because life be crazy. I recorded about 3 weeks ago, and yeah, I'm just re-recording. I made it about halfway through the edit, and I was already kind of iffy about like, oh, should I even release this? And then it was like 2 weeks, and then my house flooded. Oh my God, you guys. On Monday, my house flooded. It's Sunday now, so it's been almost a week. Yeah, we've been having a lot of rain this summer. A lot of rain, which has been great for our water table and great for our gardens. Like, everything is so overgrown right now. Yeah, but not so great for that clay desert soil, that once it's wet, it's not taking in anything else. It's just, water's just gonna sheath right off of it. Yeah, I'll throw in a few little pictures here. I came home from lunch with a friend to find my front porch had turned into a swimming pool. I went in through the back door, and there was like 4 inches of water in the house that was just like pouring in on the sides of the front door. It was pretty crazy. My neighbors came over and we just started bailing. Thankfully, the rain stopped pretty quickly after we got out there and started working, so we weren't like working against it, but yeah, that was dramatic, and my house is a mess, and everything is covered in a thin layer of mud and silt. Some places it's not so thin. No major damage, thankfully. I have concrete floors, so that worked out great for me. I also do not have any drywall in my house. My house is made of dirt, so it's just like a big terracotta pot that's airing out at this point. And yeah, I've shop vac, I've mopped, I'm continuing to mop. You know, some lost possessions. The thing that I think might be the worst is my sewing machine. It was sitting on the floor, so it sat in like 4 inches of water for several hours. I opened it up and there's just like silt on everything. And like, I live in a really small town in kind of the middle of nowhere. And we had one sewing repair guy, and he retired. So now I'm going to have to either drive like an hour and a half to Santa Fe to drop it off to get it serviced, or 3 hours to Albuquerque to drop it off to get it serviced. 2.5 hours to Albuquerque. Either way, I'm not super excited about that, because I don't know if they'll even be able to fix it. I mean, it might not even be worth fixing. I don't know. Oh, it's sad. That's the thing I'm most sad about. Thankfully, most of my yarn was in plastic bins or plastic bags. All of my sweaters were in plastic airtight bins under my bed, so they all survived. They were all fine. Yeah, I did have a couple of cardboard boxes of yarn that were like out and in process of doing things. But most of that was saved. There might be a couple of things that I have to just say goodbye to. I have like a brand new giant cone of yarn that got wet, and it's just like, I mean, I'm gonna get into this thing once the outside dries, and it's just gonna be like mold on the inside or something. So I might have lost a coat of yarn, and maybe a few skeins here or there, but overall, that's not too bad for having your house flooded. I'm also very thankful that it didn't sit around for like 3 or 4 days. It just sat around for 3 or 4 hours. We were able to get all of the water out on Monday night, and then came in and started cleanup on Tuesday. I don't even want to show you like what's happening on my back porch right now, because there's like stacks of books and like my poor sewing machine, my poor suitcase that really should have, it's on its last legs anyway, so it's just gonna go. And yeah, oh. And the porch itself has like a good 2 or 3 millimeters of just mud. Well, I guess it's dirt now because it's dried out, so. Oh, anyway, okay, let's get on with it. Yeah, you don't need to hear any more about my life stuff. So let's talk about yarn. All right, so I actually made myself a list this time. Wild. But I'm still super disorganized because nothing is in the right place. Oh, where did they go? Where did those go? Ah! Oh my God. This is just a disaster. Seriously. Okay, I'm back. I have a finished object, pair of socks. These were my Zoom socks. Generally, I just work on socks whenever I'm in Zoom meetings or have some random waiting period, you know. So here we go. I don't have sock blockers. I apologize. This pattern is based on Andrea Mowry's, Drea Renee's Everyday Socks. Is that no DRK Everyday Socks? Something like that. Oh gosh, I apologize if I'm just like out of sorts. It's been a week. Anywho, very cute socks. They look very funny because they are 2x2 rib all the way through. So whenever they're not like on a foot, they look just kind of ridiculous. But I did make a modification with these. In the pattern, I believe she has a Flegel heel, and I knit up the Flegel heel on the first sock, and then I tried it on, and I just did not like the way that it fit on my foot. I had never done a Flegel heel before, and I found it really fiddly to do, and so I just tore it back and I did my regular short row heel. And I just kept the 2x2 rib pattern continuing throughout the turn. And that was simple enough to just improvise. Yeah, so now I have a new pair of socks. My ends are not woven in, of course, naturally. The yarn I bought whenever I was in Glasgow in the spring at the Yarn Cape, which is a very cute little yarn shop. And the yarn is from Dystopic Fibers. And the colorway is called Twigs and Beetles. And it just reminds me of like that forest floor. If you like pick up a log and look underneath, and all the little bugs and things start scurrying out, and there's that black, dark, rich soil. Yeah. So, Twigs and Beetles, nice little fall socks. I don't like, oh, are these not the same length? Oh, yeah. Whoops. Well, One of these is a little bit longer than the other one. Oopsie. I wonder if it's in the leg or in the foot. Let's see. Let's hold those up together. A little from column A, a little from column B. Maybe my tension just changed. I don't know. Yeah, a few rows longer on the foot, a few rows longer on the leg. That's funny. Finished object number 1, and really the only finished knit. I do have some other finished objects though for you. How do I even start with this? Oh my God. Oh my God. Okay. So I have started, dyeing fleece, which has been super fun. And I have started carding that fleece into bats, which has been super fun. And I've started spinning some of those bats into yarn, which has been way super fun. So I'm just going to show you a couple of those that I've done. Oh, and, oh, I forgot about these. Ah! Oh no, that fell on the ground. That's not good. That's a lot of dirt. Actually, I'm going to show you these first because I showed you these in the last episode whenever they were still on the bobbins. So this is from Kumasi, the dyer. I'm not sure of the colorway name, but it's just like all of the beautiful, it's like a, I don't know, a bouquet to me. It just looks like flowers. Oh, it's just so freaking pretty. 100% Falkland. I did it as a 2-ply, and I spun opposite end to end. And I love spinning with Falkland. I got a few Falkland braids recently, and those ones that I've spun, it's like, it's just butter. I mean, it's just, I hardly even have to do anything. Sorry, I'm just like throwing things around. I've had a lot of anxiety this week. I'm working on that. Okay, so that is a finished spin from last time. I have it written down here, actually. Oh my gosh, I have my notebook with me. Look at me being so good. What is this? Unknown color, 2-ply ended in 316 yards. And this was like 100 gram bat, I think. Or braid. Yes, that is all that it says. 316 yards. So that's got to be like a sport weight. Yeah. I have no idea what I'm going to do with this. No idea. I mean, the yoke of a sweater, right? Like they're all yokes of sweaters, all of these. So here's the other one. Yeah, this one was, yeah, also still on the bobbin. And this is from T-Fuel Dyeing. It's a merino silk BFL blend. The colorway is called We Grew Up Overnight. And it does a gradient from the green to the brown. And it's real pretty. It's real pretty. Yeah, so you could like start with the brown and like knit up and it would be like a tree growing up, right? Yeah, I don't know if that was their intention, but why not? So, I mean, like, yoke of a sweater, obviously. Ovs. I mean, like, this would make a rad hat, too. Maybe I'll make this a hat, a new winter hat. I need new hats. It's one of those things I don't knit for myself. I always knit myself sweaters, but I never knit myself hats and mittens and gloves. Like, I need more of those accessories. I have a gazillion cowls and a gazillion sweaters. But hats and mittens I need more of. Yeah, so these are my other finished spins. Wait, other finished. No, I didn't show you the other ones yet. Oh, God. Finished spins. Socks, spinning. All right. Now, these are the finished spins that are from my naturally dyed fleece. That started from a fleece from one sheep. That's all I have is just a fleece from one sheep so far. But I have, you know, cleaned it all, divvied it up, dyed in a bunch of different colors. And now I'm just sort of like plucking colors out of bags and making bats. And it's so much fun. Oh my gosh. It's like such an art project. I love it. So this is the first one I did, and I even put a label on it and everything. I'm thinking about starting to put these up in my shop too as I make them. You know, I'm not going to make it like a primary goal to like stock my shop with hand spinning or anything. But I figure, if I spin some up, why not, you know? So, oh yeah, and I'm going to call it my spinster line. I am embracing my spinsterhood. Yeah, so what did I do with this? This is a blend of CVM, which is California Variegated Mutant, and alpaca. And the alpaca is a natural black. A lot of this in there is actually kind of a gray from the CVM, from different colors that I dyed up. That was kind of like a gray, purpley, reddish. And that was dyed with like madder and something else. I didn't even bother like writing down all of the dyes that are in here because I use so many different colors in this. So my idea was to make it kind of like a galaxy, like the cosmos, right? So I would have this deep base with these little pops of color. And heck yeah, look at that. This is great. I love it. I love this so much. Oh my gosh. Yeah, so this is a 2-ply. I just divided the mat in half. I had the colors interspersed pretty randomly throughout, so they should just kind of speckle in as they do. Yeah, so that's super duper fun. And I think I will probably be putting these up in my shop at some point in the near future. Yeah. And the other one, this one is dyed from sagebrush and marigold. There's only two dyes in here, so that's easy to remember. The sagebrush, I did have several different variations though. I had sagebrush with iron. I had sagebrush with something else. There were a few different various shades of the sagebrush. Some that was, excuse me, more brightly yellow, some that was more green, some that was more muted. And then whenever you see these pops of the orange, that's the marigold. So I really like this. I think it turned out so pretty. I was really excited about making like a super tonal yarn with all of the sagebrush colors. But then after I carded it up, it kind of like blended together too much and it just looked like a gross yellow. So I decided to go ahead and add the marigold in there for a little bit of interest. And then, yeah, as I spun it up, it became much more obvious. You could see sort of the green bits come through more clearly once it was all spun together and recompressed. So yeah, it's all of these great yellows and golds and oranges and kind of murky, scummy greens. Like, why is like scummy green and yellow the prettiest color? But it is. Yeah, so, oh, what did I get on yardage for these? This one I was calling Cosmos, and it's 45 grams, 158 yards. So that's probably about a sport weight, DK, around there. And this one, oh, this one is also a 3-ply chain ply. And I frankly was very impressed with myself at how fine I was still managed to get this as a 3-ply. So this is 52 grams, 137 yards. So actually they're both probably pretty similar in weight. I think they're both right around sport DK with a little variation in there. I think it varies probably from fingering to DK. But yeah, that's a fun new thing to do. So on that topic, I have some bats that I have not spun up, carded. So I've started carding up these naturally dyed bats that I'm gonna put up in my shop sometime pretty soon. You know, house flooded and everything. I'm not putting a schedule. Okay, so here is one. Look at how pretty that is. Oh my gosh, what fun. So I've done a gradient from this really, really bright yellow to through to like this orangey. So much fun. And this is 100% CVM, as was this. Yeah. And this one is also 100% CVM, and it is a gradient going from green to blue. Very, very pretty. I mean, look at that. So good. So good. I mean, I'm not like bragging about myself. Really, I'm bragging about Weld, because Weld is just like freaking beautiful. I was able to work with it for the first time earlier this summer, and it's great. I need to grow some. And then, oh, that's the one that fell on the ground. Hang on. Okay, so this one is a fun one. It's actually the first one that I keep saying spun up, that I carded. And I was like, I need inspiration. I need inspiration. So I looked out my window and there's just a shit ton of sunflowers. So I was like, hey, let's just make it a painting. So I painted the colors that I saw outside the window, and it's a little sunflower field with the sky. And I threw in just a little bit of that natural black alpaca for like the sunflower seeds. And like, I don't know, I kind of just want to spin this and see what it looks like. It's so cool. I'm such a dork. Oh my God. Anyway, that was super, super fun to do. It really just feels like playing in like an elementary school art class, like just picking colors and just throwing them on there and spinning the, oh, it's so much fun. Yeah. So that is a super fun thing that I've been doing, and I'm really excited to do more of that. I hope that some of you guys out there will be into spinning your own naturally dyed yarn, or using some naturally dyed hand spun. Yeah, I mean, like, especially this, like, this is 100% CVM from a farm that's less than 80 miles from here. You know, within an hour or two drive, which is close. We're real spread out here. And the dyes came from my yard, sagebrush and marigold. Like, I just never even thought that this would be a possibility. Like, before I was 70, to have the kind of skills to do this. But hey, I'll take it, right? I'm embracing my spinsterhood early. I am the 70-year-old woman. Oh, I was gonna say that's all my finished objects. I thought this was gonna be a short one. I left out so much stuff because I recorded 3 weeks ago, and I was like, oh my God, I'm not going over everything that I said 3 weeks ago too. Like, let's just talk about the stuff that I've been actively working on. And I didn't think I'd been actively working on that much, but apparently I have. One more finished object, also natural dye. So there's a farm up north of me. Oh gosh, I don't know, 30, 35 miles, something like that. Close. It's about 45 minutes, 45-minute drive. So that's cool. That's very close. Under an hour. It's like we're neighbors. And they have, and this farm has a fiber flock. They have mohair goats, alpaca, and Icelandic sheep. And they have been getting their yarn spun at a mill that is also very local to us. It's just on the other side of the mountains. So it's probably only 40 miles, but it probably takes like an hour to get there. Maybe it's only like 30 miles because it does take like an hour to get there. You have to drive over the mountains. It's all windy. Anyway, oh my gosh, I could just go on and on and on about this. So I'm not going to. I'm dyeing their yarn. It's amazing. I have a sampling of some of it here that I'm just going to show you really quickly. The rest they have up in their farm stand right now. But here's just some of the things that I've been dyeing up for them. This is on their Icelandic alpaca blend base. This is the only color I still have in my possession of this base, but it's a really pretty gray base to begin with. And I feel like, you know, purple pushes so gray anyway that sometimes I look at this and I'm like, it doesn't even look like it's dyed. But other times I look at it and it looks super purple. So whatever. So you can see that next to their mohair base. And this is mohair blended with a little bit of Lincoln long wool that they got from another farm. But it's mostly mohair. Single ply. So you can see how the dyes take up differently on a gray base and on a white base. And then everything else I have is on the mohair base. So here's a lovely red and an orange and some green and some blue. Ooh. There you go. Oh, and with the purple, I gotta get the purple in there too. Is that all of them? Is that all the colors? Yes. There we go. Look at that. It's so pretty. So pretty. Yeah, so I need to get these delivered to them. I actually still have 2 skeins that I need to give just another little dip in the cochineal, I think. They're yellow right now. Maybe I'll leave it yellow. It's just 2 skeins. So these will be up in at the farm stand at Versilvia Farms, just north of Cuesta, very soon. Hopefully I can get that delivered to them this week. And ooh, don't fall in the dirt. Just don't fall in the dirt. They have been talking about getting their yarn up online for a long time. I don't know when that's going to happen. That when it does, I'll let you know. All right, done. Done with the FOs. Whips, holy moly, you guys, we're only on whips. Ugh. It's been a week. All right, let's rip through this. Number 1, socks. I'm done with the sock. I just have to do the bind off. These have become my new Zoom socks after I finish these. Whoops. Dirt. Yeah, I'm just making up the pattern. It's 3x1 broken rib, and I'm doing 1x1 rib up at the top. The dyer is junk yarn out of the DC area. I bought this at Looped, cute little shop in DuPont Circle in Washington, DC. And the colorway name of this is Astronaut Barbie, which makes me so unreasonably happy. And this colorway, it makes me so unreasonably happy. I just want to keep knitting. I don't ever want to stop. I knit up, I mean, I was like through the foot and the heel like in 2 days, which is crazy. I don't usually go through socks that quickly. But it's just such a fun color. I've just been enjoying it so much. So yeah, junk yarn, Astronaut Barbie. Love it. Moving on. I showed this to you guys last time too, and I don't think it's honestly gotten much work on it. Oh God, this is such a mess. Oh, everything's just such a mess, you guys. Okay, this is by Felix. My Felix pullover by Amy Christophers, or whatever. I'm knitting it in Plotolopi. in the Galaxy colorway. I also want to point out I have Galaxy colorway for my Felix sweater. I have Astronaut Barbie for my socks. And I have the hand spun that I'm calling Cosmos. Not intentional. It's just in the ether, I guess. Yeah, I'm knitting this in Plutalopi. I can smell the sheepiness on it. Oh, excellent. Yeah, I finished the body. I started knitting the sleeve. I made it halfway through the sleeve and I realized I had not picked up the right size needle. I had picked up the needle that was the size for the ribbing and not the size for the body. So I was knitting the sleeve on a size 8 instead of a size 10. So I have ripped that back. And as you can see, this side has my secured sleeve stitches here on hold for whenever I'm ready. This side is just sitting around. I'm not worried at all because it's Plutalopi. Like, this thing ain't gonna unravel. I finally found my size 10 needles the other day, so I can get back to work on this. Yeah. Looking forward to this for a nice winter go play in the snow sweater. So I don't feel too, rushed to finish it. But those sleeves should go pretty quick on size 10s. And yeah, it will be my first Plutalopi garment. I'm excited. And I love the color. My God, look at it. Look at it. It's just too good. All right, we're tearing through it now. Tearing. Did I show this to you guys last time? I don't think I did. I think this is a new cast on. Yeah, so this is a new cast on probably, or it was very much just started the last time I recorded. That I am knitting up mostly in the Shetland yarn that I got whenever I went to Scotland earlier this year. I didn't go to Shetland, but I found this yarn in a yarn shop in Oban, Scotland, the Wool and Needlecraft Center, I think, and the little sign just said Shetland, $2.95 a ball, and I was like, holy shit, I'm getting a sweater quantity. So it did, and I've been knitting a sweater. Look at this, you guys. Oh my gosh. Of course, it's all like crumpled up. So this is the Porty pullover from Gudrun Johnston. She is herself from Shetland, and this is a very Shetland inspired jumper. I am loving it. It has like all of the wonderful 70s vibes. Yeah, so the brown, the blue, and the green are the 3 Shetlands that I have. I have added in a white that I also got whenever I was on that trip earlier this year, whenever I was down in London. I got from Cat of Heather and Hops, which is a yarn that she and her husband, they sourced the wool and had the yarn spun. It's 50% Jacob and 50% something else that I can't remember. Ballet Black Nose, is that right? Is that what it says? Yeah, so this is just getting worked in just a few rows as a white accent. So I'll have a lot left over to use in another project. And I am using this, which I dyed, I think probably with sagebrush. I had intended to not have a yellow. I wanted this other color to be like a tan. And I think I probably pulled this out at night and I thought it was tan. And then the lamp in my living room was like a little bit yellow, so it looks tan. And it wasn't until I like took this outside in the sunlight, I was like, that is not the yarn that I thought it was. But whatever, it looks great. I think it actually really helps to pull the green and the blue together. Having a little bit more warm yellow tone rather than a cooler neutral, you know what I mean? So yeah, this is going, I almost done with the color work on the yoke. Very, very close. The rest of the body is knit in the main color with, I think, a little bit of a repeat of the color work around the hem and the cuffs. Yeah, so this is going to be an amazing fall jumper. I'm so excited to like go and wander through the aspens in my like 70s inspired jumper. Oh, it's going to be so good. Yeah, there's like, I have to finish this so that I can take pictures in the aspens, right? It'll be so much fun. Yeah, so I'm really, really enjoying knitting this. Like, sometimes color work is just what you need. Okay, let's keep moving. Let's keep moving. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my gosh. I haven't gotten there yet. You guys, what have I been doing? Everything, apparently. Oh, good Lord. Okay, this one I'm knitting up in my own yarn. So this is in my DK base. I am not going to be carrying that anymore. So what I have is what I have. I do have a few skeins that I had left over that are dyed up in like, I think I'm going to call the color cotton candy because it just looks like cotton candy. It's like light blues and pinks and purples and stuff on the DK base. So hopefully that'll be coming around soon. I just have to get them skeined up and pictures and all that stuff. Anyway, this is the Alejandra shawl by Joji Locatelli. I am doing this as a gift knit. So the three colors are, the yellow is Tierra Amarilla, and that was dyed with sagebrush from my yard. The blue is dyed with indigo, and the gray, that has just the little short stripes in between, is dyed with avocado from my kitchen. My kitchen scraps. Yeah, and then at the bottom, I have a few more little stripes to do, and then at the bottom, there's like a mosaic knit border that will be in the blue and the gray, I believe. Yes, the blue and the gray. And then there's some fringe along the bottom too. So that's fun. It's going. It's actually knitting up really quickly considering I don't really like knitting garter stitch and I don't really like knitting shawls. So yeah, that's good. I've been taking it to my knit group because that's a good time to just crank out some garter stitch and not really think about it. So yeah, most of this has been done at my knit groups. Yeah, it's a gift for my old boss who recently left, and she's still in town, but it's not cold yet, so it's fine. Have a good time. Okay, more. Okay, I have another spin that's on the go. I'm doing my first traditional 3-ply. I went and bought myself some extra bobbins so I could. So I've got 2 of the plies done and the third one is started. There's a lot of fluff on this. Oh goodness. Anyway, just barely started with the third. This is from, oh, I can't remember the dyer's name right now. Your Fibery Godmother. That's who it's from. They're on Etsy. Super, super pretty. The colorway name is Desert Pools. It's just like all the beachy, cool tones. Oh, I don't know. It's just, I'm a sucker for turquoise. That's why I ended up in New Mexico, right? Anyway, just have one more skein to go and then I can apply those together. So I will be curious how doing a traditional 3-ply is different, like in the final result and also just in the process than doing a chain ply, because I have done chain plies a few times, but I didn't ever have enough bobbins to do a 3-ply. So now I do. Okay, is that everything? I think that's everything. No, that's not everything I'm working on. Oh, God, you guys. Okay, so I'm getting a new yarn base. I'm really excited about it. This is for my shop on Etsy. I will be selling these online. Well, not these. These are just my samples. But I have gotten this yarn and I will be dyeing it up, save maybe that poor cone that got soaked in the flood. But anyway, these were my sample skeins that I dyed up, and I just wanted to show you the new bases that I'm going to have and some of the colors that I got for them. So first up, look at this. Oh, it's so beautiful. Okay, so this is a worsted weight base. It's 100% non-superwash, US grown and spun targi. It's a 2-ply. Am I saying that correctly? I don't think so. No, what is this? 3 or 4? 3-ply? Break apart. 3-ply. All right, it's been confirmed. Worsted weight, 3-ply, 100% non-superwash, US grown and spun targi. Look at that. I mean, I just want to make like all of the sweaters out of this already. It's a really nice plump base with that 3-ply. This is going to be great for cables. It feels super soft, like next to skin kind of soft, you know? Yeah, I'm super excited to start dyeing with this and start knitting with this too. It's a really nice plumpy squishy yarn. Oh, sorry. I'm really excited. And I'm really excited to finally have a domestic base that I can get in quantity. So that's exciting. And then the other base is the, you know, little sister companion to the worsted, is a fingering weight. And this is 90% superwash targi, US grown and spun targi, and 10% nylon. So it's not a totally like nylon free non-superwash sock, which I would love to do and like really be able to kind of, you know, pick the breeds and do the blends and everything. But I feel like this is a really great compromise that it's only 10% nylon. It is still a superwash, but it doesn't feel real slick to the touch or anything like that. And it's also a 3-ply, so it still has this really nice plump round yarn shape. And since it's a superwash, it gets the colors so much more saturated. So these all went through the same dye baths. So you can see the difference between superwash and non-superwash. The superwash process is a chemical process that actually strips the scales off of the individual wool hairs. Like our hairs have scales on them too. You know, we use conditioner to like smooth out the scales so our hair doesn't get stuck together and tangly, so it's smoother, right? And that's why wool felts, because they have these scales and they all get tangled together and they lock in. So by removing those scales, you have a non-felting yarn that you can throw in the washing machine, right? But also in doing that, in removing those scales, it creates all of this new surface area for the dye to penetrate the fiber. So superwash yarns, you can get these crazy saturated colors. So, I mean, I feel like it's a pretty good compromise for an almost nylon-free sock yarn. And 100% grown and spun US targi. Yes. Oh yeah, okay, here. The other colors, I've just been showing you that one. Compared. Superwash versus non-superwash. Yeah, and these went through the exact same pots. They were in the same bath. So there's no, you know, variation in amounts of dye or anything. The yellow is probably the one that gets the closest, but the superwash still goes way more gold and just gets more saturated. Yeah, and like this one actually took on much more of the blue tint than the non-superwash did, which is really interesting. Interesting things. Okay. Oh my God, is that it? That's it. Okay. You guys. Oh, that's it, you guys. So I was gonna sit back at the end and do a little live chat and knit, but I just realized that I am at the point on that sock where I need to bind off, so I can't actually stop and knit and chat with you. But yeah, I mean, like, God, it's been a stressful week. It's been a stressful few months. It's been a stressful few years. It's been a stressful several years. Oh, it just never stops. Yeah, I have noticed though in the last several months, you know, I have noticed though in the last several months as I've been going through some hard times, how my crafting cycles, which I have found very interesting. I'm definitely in a very like acute period where it's like, okay, I'm stressed out, I need to take a break, and like I'm taking a little extra care of myself, you know what I mean? And I have found that like if I'm feeling anxious in my body, I want to spin. If I'm feeling anxious in my mind, I want to knit Fair Isle. If I'm feeling just tired of the world and I just need to like relax and go into a cocoon, I want to knit on socks or something stockinette, or like 1x1 rib, like something that's just mindless and I don't even have to look at, you know. But then when I really like get on overload, it just like trips the breaker and I don't want to do anything. And I was like that for the last couple weeks. I'm like, I just don't. This was before the flood. I was already just like, I don't want to knit anything. Like, I don't want to spin anything. I don't want to look at yarn. I was just like so over it for a minute. And then the house flooded. And as I've been cleaning up the house all week, I kept finding myself thinking, oh God, I just want to sit down and knit for a while. Like, but I have to keep mopping. Just keep mopping. Anyway, now that it's the weekend, I have let myself sit down to knit for a while, and oh my goodness, you guys, like the mojo is back. I want to knit all of the things. I think that's also a little bit because there's just a hint of fall, just a hint, a little tiny hint. It's getting a little bit colder at night, a little bit chillier sleeping out of the window. I've seen a few yellow leaves on some cottonwoods around town. I'm ready for monsoon season to just be over already and for it to stop raining. My house almost flooded again on Friday night. I was here that time and saw it happening again, so I went outside in the rain and dug a trench and diverted the water. Oh my God. Yeah, so I went to knit all the things, which is maybe like a distraction from cleaning all the things. But yeah, I feel like my fingers are just itching now. Like I want to be knitting something all the time. I want to be spinning something all the time. So I need to make that happen. That's the moral of the story. I need to make that happen because I need to take care of myself because shit's fucked up, yo. God. We all need to take care of ourselves because frankly, nobody else is going to take care of us. So I try to think about that often. Particularly whenever I was traveling alone. And also just because I don't have my mom with me anymore. So I do often think to myself, like, stop, Liz. You need to take care of yourself. You need to mother yourself. Like, a mom would not tell you to keep going. Like, a mom would tell you to stop and rest. So that is my parting advice to you all. Mother yourselves. Treat yourselves like you would treat your child self, right? Take care of yourselves. Make yourselves a nice dinner. make your bed, do your chores, do your homework, clean your room. Oh, and then everything will be fine. Okay. That's it, you guys. I hope that I can get through the editing of this and actually get this one up and I don't have to re-record again in 3 weeks after everything has changed. Yeah, so I think we're all collectively a little bit stressed right now and a little bit on overload. So I'm gonna wrap this up with some nature footage, because what mom does it better than Mother Nature, right? I'm not quite sure what I'm gonna put in, but probably like my garden and taking the dogs out and stuff and just running around here in northern New Mexico. So I hope you guys enjoy that, and take care of yourselves and be your own mom. Love y'all. Bye.